Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Bald and the Beautiful.
Wait, I thought this was study skills.
This is study skills? Oh. Let's try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another edition of Study Skills. I'm your host, Mr. Owen. Sorry, I thought this was Bald and the Beautiful. Got a little confused there for a second. Thank goodness I have an amazing editor. Want to give a shout out to my friend Chris Garris, who has edited all these videos and is a big help and saved me today from getting the wrong video. Let's start the timer. As always, I'm going to get this done in 18 minutes because studies have shown that most people can't pay attention for more than that. Today's presentations and speeches. Okay, and I'm going to go over a crash course of how to do really awesome PowerPoints or Google slide presentations, and I'm going to give you some tips how to giving speeches. And if you're thinking, Mr. Owen, the idea of a speech makes me nervous, don't worry, you're not alone, and I got your back. Okay, so by the time you're done today, you're going to feel pretty good about yourself, and you're going to be prepared to rock this. First thing I want to talk about is a couple of things about multimedia presentations. And I actually used to have a company that used to get paid serious coin to go around the country, and I would train people on how to give presentations, and I would train people on how to speak on camera. So this isn't just something that like I'm telling you, like I think this is how you should do it. This is something I used to get paid tens of thousands of dollars to do. So trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, first thing is stop reading off the slides. Okay, so first thing you got to just get in your head. If you had a TV behind yourself and you were just staring at it and not looking at the audience, or you've got your computer here, don't just stare at your computer and read off the slides. Okay, that's not what the presentation's for. I want you to remember a thing called the rule of 6 by 6. That means no more than 6 lines and no more than 6 words per line, and I'll explain that in detail. It has to do with my next tip, which is you want things to be visually appealing. You don't want them to overwhelm the mind, and I'll show you some examples. Okay. Animations, GIFs, videos, you want to make it interactive. This is the 21st century. Pretty soon we'll have holograms and things like that. So in the meantime, you need to make these things fun. You need to make them engaging. And then as always, my number one rule is KISS. Keep it super simple. You want to keep things simple. You don't want to overwhelm the mind. And you want your slides and your presentation to work for you, not for you. Okay, you want it to work with you, and that's the whole point. And like I said before, if you are super nervous, nervous is normal, and there is a way to get over that. If I asked you guys right now, could you stand up and do Jingle Bells? Could you stand up and give the Pledge of Allegiance? Or could you stand up and say the national anthem? Could you stand up and do Take Me Out to the Ball Game? And most of you, to one of those questions, would say, yeah, no problem. And I would say, why? Why are you able to get up and sing Jingle Bells? Because you'd say, I've done it 100 times. That's one of the keys to speeches, is you need to practice, okay? And I've got a little video for you to hopefully make you feel a little bit better about yourself. And again, if you're nervous about public speaking, you are 110% in the normal realm, and I got your back. Check this out.
Okay, just get up on that podium. All right, I'm here. That was easy. Now I just need to... Oh my gosh! How many people are in the audience? 100? 1,000? Don't count. Okay, I can do this. I'm gonna focus on my notes. What did I have written down again? Hello. Okay, if this sounds like your worst nightmare, you're not alone. Actually, you're one of the estimated 70% of the population that has an intense fear of public speaking. And that's okay, because on today's Wellcast, we've got our triple P method that will get you through and get you calm during that next oral report and keep your breakfast where it belongs. You ready? Many polls list public speaking as the most commonly reported phobia among Americans. It's called glossophobia, meaning literally, fear of the tongue. A study by Texas Christian University tested 48 women and 48 men enrolled in a public speaking class and found that those who exhibited high trait anxiety had the most physical symptoms of distress when speaking publicly. So, what if you're the kind of person whom any bit of social acrobatics is tantamount to entering a lion's den? Hey, calm down. Okay, I'm just kidding, but seriously, calm down, all right? We've got our triple P method that'll get you through that next public speaking gig. Pause and print this Wellcast worksheet. Step 1, prepare, prepare, prepare. We said it 3 times because it's that important.
There are 2 things that go into being prepared. Number 1, knowing your subject backwards and forwards. 2, knowing exactly how you're going to present it step by step. In your Wellcast worksheet, write down the major points that you want to get across to the audience. Get the ideas out of your head and onto the paper.
Okay. In the next column to the right, start ordering these points in a logical manner. Arguing your point to the audience and winning them over is like a boxing match. First, start with some fancy footwork, a fact or an anecdote that will hook the audience in and get them to pay attention to you. Then, throw a couple of swings, supporting evidence for your argument, stats, personal stories, something that will start to convince the audience that you're taking control. And finally, the knockout, a landing blow of statements that's memorable, convincing, and sums up your speech's position. All right, step 2. Posture and physicality are key. Part of keeping your anxiety at bay while giving your speech is knowing what to do with your body.
Before your speech, avoid large meals or dairy products, which will make you feel like you need to clear your throat incessantly. Bring a bottle of water on stage if you're allowed. Don't be afraid to take sips throughout your speech. It'll keep your voice natural, and it gives you a moment to pause and regain your composure if needed. Stand naturally, not too stiff or slumped. Good posture will help you breathe and speak easier, and it'll let your audience know that you're calm and in control.
Step 3, pander to your audience. The best public speakers know how to work the room. Don't be completely serious unless the occasion calls for it. Don't read entirely off the cards. Keep it natural, cadence and pace. Throw a joke or a side in. It'll draw in a laugh. If there's a silence, then turn that into a joke. Stay natural, self-effacing, and the audience will be on your side. Let's recap. You'd rather face a poisonous reptile than public speak, huh? Well, follow the well-cast Triple P checklist. Prepare extensively for your speech. Know your content backwards and forwards, and figure out the absolute best way to present it and to win over your audience. Watch your posture and physicality. This includes everything from standing naturally to breathing from your diaphragm.
And pander to your audience. Keep them in the palm of your hand, and with an easy demeanor, natural cadence, and of course, jokes.
All right, guys, welcome back. Hopefully that Triple P method will help you a ton. And remember, it's okay to be nervous. You're well within the normal realm, 70% of people, and those people are actually more afraid of public speaking than they are for a room full of poisonous reptiles or spiders, which is crazy, but it's a real thing. So don't be nervous. Think of that Triple P method. And remember, this video, you can pause it, you can go back at any point in time. So feel free to take as long on this video as you need. All right, so let's get into speech writing, right? We talked about the preparation in that video, we talked about pandering, we talked about practice, and we talked about, again, I mentioned preparation again because it's so, so important. So those 3 Ps hopefully will really help you, okay? So my goals for today is I want to give you an easy way to write speeches, and I want you to understand a good PowerPoint, okay? I already got one of my goals for today, which was to hopefully make you less nervous about public speaking, and we already took care of that with the video. So let's go over the good, the bad, and the ugly of presentations, right? How many of you have ever seen a teacher do this to you, right? And they throw this up on the board. Look at this slide. Do you want to read this slide? Let's say I was introducing myself to you and I was going over Mr. Owen's hobbies. Like, do you want to read this? What happens to your mind? Look at this slide. Your brain shuts off. Your brain does not want to read this. Okay, it's too cluttered. This does not meet my 6x6 rule. Okay, yes, there's only 4 lines, but there's way more than 6 words per line. Okay, something happens to your brain when there's too much on the screen and you just want to stop and you don't want to read, even if what I've written is really good stuff. Okay, here's another one that's okay. It's a little cluttered still. There's a lot of pictures. There's a lot to look at. Your eyes are kind of all over the place. This is better than the last one, but it's not ideal. A better way to do this if I was going over the hobbies is to let my slides work with me, okay? And then look at this one. My hobbies are the gym, right? And I do, for each hobby, I do its own slide. It's simple, the image is captivating, and you know what one of my hobbies are, and it's gonna stick with you a lot more, okay? The exception to my 6x6 rule is quotes. If you need to use a quote, you want to quote the entire thing. Ideally, if you can get a cool image or something like that to go with it, like this one, it can really pop as well. Okay? All right, with that said, I got some more public speaking tips to come right at you right now. So check this out.
In this video, I'll share public speaking tips for beginners. So if you're just getting started in your stand-up speaking experience, this video is for you. So let's unpack the details. Hello there and welcome to this channel, Communication Coach. If you've never tuned in yet, this channel is here to help rising leaders increase their personal impact so you can lead the people around you with more excellence. And today we're talking about communication skills specifically. If you haven't had a lot of experience doing stand-up speaking, I'm going to give you some do's and some don'ts that'll help move you in the right direction. And as we talk about these do's and don'ts, I want you to pick out which ones you think would help you the most, and feel free at any point to comment in that section below the video. So I said do's and don'ts. We're actually going to start with the don'ts and then give you the do version of it. So that's the way we'll organize it. So the first pair goes like this. Don't ramble and get long-winded. Anytime a speaker is disorganized and weaves all around, it's very hard to follow what he or she is talking about. And instead what you want to do is give a nice organized and concise message. That means you have to take the time beforehand when you're preparing to create a nice introduction, body, and conclusion. Make sure you have clear main points and there's a transition statement between each main point. Your audience is really going to appreciate an orderly presentation of your ideas, and it's much more likely that they'll remember what you said, and really that's the whole point of speaking to them in the first place. The next don't is don't look with your eyes in the wrong places. You want to not look over people's heads or not look at the floor and not stare at the ceiling or scan around like that. What you want to do is look directly into a person's eye long enough to finish a thought and then move on and look directly into the next person's eyes long enough to finish a thought. One public speaking teacher told me, one thought, one look. In other words, about a sentence or a half a sentence and then move on to the next person. Now, this is very difficult to do if you're not used to it. It can feel very awkward looking right into someone's eyes, but you have to gear up for this because that's what audiences want. We want people to connect with us. If you're not looking into our eyes and making us feel like we're part of this, then you're not going to have much of an impact. The next thing you want to do is don't clutter up all your notes with too many details. A lot of times we're tempted to jam our notes or our PowerPoints with everything we want to say. But the result is when we're nervous in the moment, we end up just locked into our notes and looking down the whole time and reading and sounding really stiff, really wooden, and you're not going to, again, connect with people. So what you want to do instead is pare down your notes so that you can just have a conversational style with your audience. And again, as you're practicing, you have to whittle down those notes so that all you have is like talking points, like a little grocery list of items that you're going to talk about. And it almost forces you, or at least frees you, to connect with people, to look up, and to have a nice normal conversation with them in your natural personality. The next don't is you don't want to load up your slide with all complicated animations and text. And one of the reasons is you don't want to stare at it and read from it. The other reason is that it's very hard to follow what's going on if your slides are jam-packed with detail. What you want to do instead is make sure your slides are nice and clear and simple and help you make whatever point you're making in that particular moment. A rule of thumb that I like to use is if you're spending more than about 2 or 3 minutes on each PowerPoint slide, then you're probably wasting your time. And I don't recommend using more than a couple of slides per presentation anyway if you're a beginner, because people tend to over-rely on the slides and load up each single slide with way too much. The next don't is don't fidget. Don't fidget with your hands. Don't fidget with your feet. Don't pace back and forth aimlessly because you're nervous. What you want to do instead is have nice, confident posture where you stand in one place for a little while. And then if you want to move with a purpose, move, stand in another place for a while, and then share another part of your message. Move for the purpose, stand still, share some of your message. Don't just pace. Have nice, confident posture. Same thing with your hands. You want to use gestures and emphasize your ideas with your hands. You don't want to fidget and put them in your pockets or play with a pen or do anything else weird or distracting like that. That's a big part of how you come across non-verbally, and I recommend that when you're practicing, you work on this as well. And the last don't and do is how you use your voice. What you don't want to do is speak too softly, use a lot of fillers like and and so. What you want to do is have a confident voice where you speak loud, like to the back of the room with a nice clear volume. Aim for the back of the room, because think about it, you have to reach those people. The other thing you want to do is emphasize your key words with the sound of your voice, and also pause after you share a key idea or a key thought. Pause for a minute silently. Don't fill it up with an or an The pause is much more effective. So here are some do's and don'ts, some tips for beginners. Again, as I mentioned, where do you see yourself in here? Which one do you think would help you the most in this list? I would love to hear your comments in that section below. So thanks, God bless, and I will see you in the next video.
Welcome back. That was a great video reiterating a lot of what I've said. Remember, at any time with my video, you can stop and you can go back and you can rewind this. What I'm going to teach you right now is something that I learned. My dad taught me this in first grade, and I was mind boggled that when I went to college and I took Speech 101, that the whole class was teaching us how to do this, and all the other kids in the class had never been taught this, and I was like mind blown. Since then, I've taught middle schoolers this as young as 6th grade. I've taught high schoolers this. It's a really easy concept. So take a look at this template. When you write a speech for notes, it is okay to have note cards, okay? In addition to your PowerPoint or in addition to anything, people expect that. People don't expect you to have your speech memorized. So if you look at the left side of this slide, pretend that's one 3x5 note card. Do not write everything in its entirety on your note card. You have to start thinking of it like if you watched my note-taking video, like the outline method. Okay, you're going to put the topic, you're going to support the topic, and you're going to put some information on it. And it's going to indent with each thing. That way your eye, it's easy to find it. You don't need to write things on your note card like, my name is. You know your name. You do not need to write that on a note card. You say, hi, I'm Mr. Owen. I didn't write that on a note card. Okay, so let me give you an example of what this looks like. And remember, you can pause this at any time to kind of get a better look at this. Okay, so let's say I was giving a speech on my favorite animal. Okay, if this were my note card, my speech would look something like this. Hi guys, my name is Mr. Owen. Welcome today. I'm here to talk about my favorite animal. My favorite animal, and I know there are a lot of animals in the animal kingdom to choose from, but my favorite is the rhino. I have many reasons why the rhino is my favorite animal. First of all, they look like a dinosaur, which is super cool, and they have cool horns and this crazy protective skin that looks like dinosaur skin, like the ones you see in movies. And they may look really tough with this horn and the skin, but they are really, really nice. Most people don't know that they're actually plant eaters. They're herbivores. And I have a bunch of interesting facts that show why I love rhinos. They're over 2,200 pounds, which is crazy. They're the second largest land mammal, and there are 5 different species. Okay, do you see what I'm doing here and how I did that? How I was able to barely look at my cards and see you the entire time. Okay, so what I want to do right now is I want to practice. Find somebody in your house right now. Grab somebody, grab a buddy online, pick a partner, and I want you to share your favorite animal with them. And then I want you to combine those 2 animals and write a speech just like I did filling out that template. If you can't find a buddy, no worries, do it yourself. Pick your 2 favorite animals. I don't care if they're real animals or make-believe. Go unicorn and dragon, I don't care, but I want you to practice this. So pause the video right now, fill out this template, get up in front of a mirror, or get up with your buddy, and try to do this and see if it works. And have a little fun being silly combining 2 animals. All right, pause for the cause, practice. All right, hopefully you practiced. Remember, that's one of the triple P methods. We're wrapping up right now because we're at 18 minutes. And like I've told you before, I don't want you to have to pay attention for more than 18 minutes. So things to remember. Speak to your slides. Remember my rule of 6 by 6? Make them visually appealing. Use animations, GIFs, videos. Make it interactive, but keep it super simple. And remember the triple P method. Preparation, pander, and practice. So hopefully you've practiced on this video and you have a better understanding of how to do some presentations. And even though we're past the 18 minutes, I think it's okay if we do a little story time! Chris, roll the story time graphic! Sorry to go over, but I got a good story for you. So when I was in first grade, I'll never forget this memory. We had a substitute teacher, Mr. Doherty. And Mr. Doherty came in, he was a really good substitute, one of those ones that really got into it. And one of the days he said, I will give any student in this room $5. And this was in 91. $5 was a lot of money. It's even a lot of money now if I offered, any teacher offers you money, it's a win. He said, I'll give any student $5 if they stand on the desk in the front of the room and they sing a song. And all the kids, oh, me, Mr. Doherty, me. And one by one, kids got up and they'd either not get out of their chair or they'd get to the desk and then they wouldn't get up on the desk. A couple of them would like almost get up on the desk. One girl got up on the desk and then was like, no, I can't do it. No one would do it. And I'm like, me. And I'm like, I'm so ready. And one by one, all these kids wouldn't do it. Finally, it was my turn. And I went up on the desk and I got up there and I got up and I said, what do you guys want me to sing? And Mr. Doherty said, you have to pick the song. And I said, okay. I said, I'm going to sing Jingle Bells. And I sang Jingle Bells, and then I sang Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And I said, any requests? I'll keep singing. And this guy's mouth dropped. Mr. Doherty said, wow. He said, Mike, I've been doing this for 30 years. And I've been doing this every time I substitute a class for the first time. He said, this is the first time I've ever had to give a student $5. And he said, what does your dad do? And I said, my dad is a news reporter and an anchor. And he goes, no wonder. So listen, I love public speaking. It's my thing. I am not in the normal realm. If you're nervous, if you don't like it, if this is new to you, you are in the normal group. I am the weird one. I am the one that would rather be in a room full of people giving a speech anytime, any day of the week. It's my thing. Remember that most people are afraid of public speaking more so than poisonous reptiles or spiders. So it's okay if you're nervous. Just remember, preparation, practice, and pandering to your audience will help this. If you prepare, you will crush it, I promise you. And if you are just really so nervous you can't even function, then ask your teacher if maybe you could do a YouTube video for your speech instead of a live speech. They might be okay with that. All right? This has been note-taking, speech writing. We've done research. We've done essay writing. We've done a ton of stuff. Thank you for watching Study Skills. I'm Mr. Owen. Special shout out to Chris Garris. We appreciate you. Keep learning, and we're always here to help if you need us. Thanks for watching.